Alrighty here, it's back to back in the 2021 Space Cup. And our crazy caster, because he kinda lost his mind today over casting so many matches, Cuarson is gonna be playing now. So, I'm a bit concerned for whether he can actually pull it off now. That he basically fried his brain with casting, 3 ones, right? He casted Moon Shield against Artemis earlier today, and then he casted my match against Scythe, and later on he casted the Minors semi-finals Flipper J against Mr. Raisinface, and now he has to play. What a day. What a day for EW. We are here and he is playing against 3-1 G-Man. The surprise 3-0 victor against Sky Guy 1138. So he kicked out the more veteran player out of the tournament here in the first round in the lower bracket. Has shown a very strong performance and is now making Cuarson sweat because G-Man has improved a lot. And this is an elimination match. In my personal opinion, I still think that Cuarson should be the favorite in this one, because Cuarson just has more and longer and deeper experience and exposure to high-level EW play. And also Cuarson looked very good against Ram King. He did lose 3-2, but he looked very solid against the second seed of this tournament. So if he can repeat that stellar performance, and it wasn't just that playing against that good opponent like pressed out the little extra juice from him, because it can totally happen that against G-Man he's a bit more relaxed, a bit more laid back, a bit less on the edge, and just might lose his edge in playing him, right? So there's a little bit of a concern that he might not play as well as he did against Realm King, and G-Man already has shown us that he can play better than we expect from him. So this might be closer than it may seem on paper. All right, I got the chat open in front of me. I think everything is set up, and the last thing to do is to jump into the game. Which, that's not a game, that's just the lobby list. Let's go, 2021 Space Cup. Alrighty, here we are. We have Cuarson as the high seed player and G-Man as the low seed. So G-Man gets the first and the last ban and the first map pick in this best of 5 in the second round in the lower bracket. All right, only waiting for Cuarson. Maybe I'll just match open, DM him real quick so that he knows. Yeah. Anything to talk about in terms of picks and bans? Now, Cuarson is the high seed player, so he will generally want to leave maps in the pool that he both can play with one faction very well and where he thinks that that one faction is the preferred faction. I think that encompasses maps like Castle, where he probably will want to play Empire. That encompasses maps like Coruscant, with the... wait, did I say Empire? I meant, no, Castle, Rebels. He will probably want to play Rebels on Coruscant, though he has shown a very strong performance as Empire too, so that might not actually be one of the maps for him in that sense. Begins. So Castle, maybe another one might be Polos actually for him, because I have an inkling that Cuarson thinks that the Rebels are strictly the stronger faction on Polos if played correctly, and he obviously thinks that he can play them correctly. So G-Man does the opposite. G-Man wants to get rid of the maps that he just doesn't want to end up having to pick, and that would be Coruscant. On the other side, Cuarson bans Geonosis, which is a very even map, so he wants to play his high seed drafting advantage by getting rid of one map that is considered a good pick for the lower seed player because of it being even. And he wants to see Naboo. Let's show him Naboo. And then he's actually gonna ban it. All right, Cuarson looked very strong on Naboo, so I can totally get behind that ban. Let's update the overlay real quick before we move on. And secondly, we have Geonosis. And finally, for the third ban, we have Naboo, the map that Always produces the Realm King Cuarson banter. There we go, Cuarson Realm, right. Cuarson, what Dagobah? So, is this his fried brain right now talking? Oh, it's just, okay, I see. Just what he wanted, not what he actually can get. Yeah, Dagobah is not in the pool, obviously. I could show you Dagobah if you're interested. But here, Dagobah. Dagobah it's playable in 1v1, but it's not really made for that. It's better in 2v2 scenarios, much better. All right, Cuarson. Maybe let's talk about Cuarson, because against Realm King, he just completely threw it away. Did you watch that? If you haven't watched that, you can watch the replay on Twitch in the video section here. And we will also later down the line upload everything onto the Competitive EW YouTube channel. So if you watch that, you can see that on Castle, he just completely derped out. Like I haven't seen a major player play worse on Castle, I think, than that was. So that's another thing we can fill the gap with. But we don't have to, because Dendrine is actually being picked here. And Cuarson responds with Empire. Now, is he gonna try the Artemis thing and just build everything? Is that what's gonna happen? Because I still have no idea how that actually worked. Whoops, there's a P too much. Never P while playing. Empire. Alrighty. No, I can't really give you any predictions on this map because yeah, you know it by now. I'm not an expert on that map. So I'm just gonna sit back and watch, and yeah, let's see what happens. Good luck and have fun to the players, and give them the countdown. Let's go. Alrighty, let's watch what Cuarson does with Empire. Having talked about him, he actually goes back to his basement with his first unit, and to the left. And on the other side with G-Man with the offensive start. Nothing at his basement as of yet. He goes to the left, to the mine actually, and goes down. Is not bonking the Nebula, so that was already a good micro from him. On the Empire base mine, we see it goes up, and probably also the turret. I'm not sure about that. Let's keep an eye on this side of the map, whether we see stuff going up. Rebel base mine being built. We see the Rebel mine going up, and Cuarson actually not building this one. I'm not sure what I should think of that. And actually, Rebel mine on there going up. Rebel's now only 1k credit, so they can decide between the turret and the mine. I'm assuming it's the mine, and it is. Cuarson found the mine here, though, and G-Man kind of went like, wait, there's nothing? Why is there nothing? What now? Yeah. And G-Man is going for the base mine already. All right. Oh, the middle mine is going up. Interesting. Cuarson going for the middle mine. There's so many things happening at the start on this map. It's really nice, really nice. All right. Just took a quick note. Still nothing on the Rebel basement. Let's see here. We have a bomber coming in and actually doing the job. So I think that's a nice decision. Empire has problems bringing enough firepower quickly to the field, because you need like 4 or 5 TIE fighters to be quick in destroying a mine, and that's 40 or 50 seconds. And you could have the same effect by just building one bomber, and that's just 17 seconds. So while the bomber loses you money, because you don't have fighters later on to just send somewhere else, right? At the same time, the bomber makes it so you can have a really quick response to anything you find on the map. Talking about quick responses, Cuarson responded really quick in defending his baseline after he saw the G-Man went there. And with the turret and 3 TIE fighters and the engine upgrade, he was able to defend it. It gives him the opportunity to build the left side because he knows that G-Man is just attacking the middle and not doing anything else right now. So this is already looking really nice for Cuarson, who will now proceed to defend the next mine, I think. On the other side, he's attacking the base mine. He has only 3 TIE fighters. I think he will need a little bit more. Let's see if he calls something in. Not yet. He could use a bomber, actually, because this is just a laser turret. But no. Seems like he wants to leave it at the 3 units here. I'm not really sure why G-Man gets dragged into the dogfight here. Don't think that's the right way to go. And if you look at this one... Oh, that should be a win for the TIE fighters. So Cuarson's gonna win the bottom right side too. That's another mine. And yeah, G-Man is really cornered now. He's actually running away from the TIE fighters to the top here. Has lost his base mine. Cuarson actually built the bomber because laser turret, it doesn't defend well against the bomber there. And G-Man is just, yeah, pushed back against his own station. Wow, whole map is purple. Well, the whole map? Nope. There's a tiny speck of blue on the left side here. But it's not gonna change the outcome of this match, of this map. And with that, I think we are on the way to a Tech 2 for Empire. Wait, did he just... Oh no, he did. Okay. The torpedo was just below this part of the station, so we couldn't see it, but he got the supply dock. So it's now... Yeah. G-Man rebuilding his base mine, but I'm pretty sure that Cuarson will go there eventually. Again. Still on his defensive strategy here, and it seems to be working out really nicely for him. Kinda sloppy though from Cuarson that he didn't check the basement again, because it has been down for quite some time. It's not that G-Man just immediately rebuilt it, right? Cuarson took a very long time. He had just TIE fighters sitting here and doing nothing. He could just send them over, so seems to be very comfortable in his position right now. That he's actually, yeah, being pretty lenient here on the rebel basement. Now he arrives, sees the base mine. Is there another bomber coming, maybe? I think he's tacking. Look at that, 4,000 credits. I think that shows us that... Oh, there's actually a bomber coming, so he had one ready. The madman. And that X-Wing is a bit too late, I'm afraid. What's he taking now? Is he even attacking something? Oh, up here. What is it? The communications array, alright. Wants to disable the minimap of his opponent. Still defending this mine, it's... yeah. 8,000 credits. Why is there no GG? Mr. GG man. Okay, that was bad. I'm sorry. There's the GG, finally. Alrighty, no canister this time. Finally. But as we have realized last time, that canister might just be reloading right now. Just wait for it. Alrighty, Cuarson goes ahead, 1-0 in this best of 5. 2 more wins needed to win for him. And G-Man will now want to strike back with his faction pick advantage in the second game. Indoor it is. All right, let's show indoor real quick. Smallest map in the pool. Yeah, indoor has this weird dynamic that on paper, and if both players just play casually, the Empire is really nice. But after a certain point, the Rebel faction gets really, really good on Endor. And I have a feeling that Cuarson might just be at that point, and that he just actually did want G-Man to pick the Empire faction to give him the Rebels, so that he actually won the draft in that sense here. But Cuarson can't speak to us. He's completely gone off the hinges now. Back to caveman. Levels of intelligence. Hopefully it's enough to win on Endor, though. Make the Ewoks proud, right? Let's go. All right, let's see what G-Man does at the beginning here. Yep, very standard. Oh, he's actually going down, not to the middle. And Cuarson goes up and above the nebula. So that's something we've seen emerging over this tournament a little bit. No basement turret. And what do we have here? We have a laser turret. All right, so Cuarson goes up above. So he sacrifices map control in the center for a couple seconds. It's not much, like 3 seconds, I don't know, of an earlier attack here. And without any defense, I think that might actually do a lot of work. Gets the -3rd X-Wing coming in already. But I like the response from G-Man. G-Man just says, okay, you don't go here. That is mine now. Literally, because it's a mine. Right. So, but at the same time, Cuarson is really fast at the basement. So if Cuarson pays some attention to the map, he will now go to the middle. Why did we lose vision there? That's so weird. Like, we see this one, so mines under construction should be visible, but this one, we don't. Oh, that might actually be... Oh, I have encountered a strange bug before, where stuff that's right in the center of the map doesn't have vision range. Like, I tried to build a map that had a turret building pad right in the center, and it just didn't have vision if you build it. It was really weird, and if I moved it a little bit, it had vision. Maybe that mine is actually smack in the center, and that's why we don't see it. Yeah, but Cuarson was able to intercept everything that G-Man threw at him in the top right, is now able to build the mine. And without the bomber, these TIE fighters take a long time. I'm personally a fan of just foregoing the TIE fighters and going for a bomber if you see that there is no turret defending it. Just spend those 17 seconds to get the real firepower out. Cuarson, however, has still not checked mid. He doesn't know about that mine, and that's really nice for G-Man. G-Man can build up his forces now. Will be a little bit too light on the top right, though. Alright, if you look at the basement here, it looks like G-Man actually wants to rebuild it at this point. Is he? Maybe he is, but the X-Wings are on the way. How many are these? Like 2 squadrons. Oh, if he builds this now, that would be disaster. Vision range is up to here. It's in range. Okay, he's not gonna build it. On the other side of the map, we have a dogfight. Why are you not attacking the mine? But dogfighting, I don't know if that is deliberate, actually. Yeah. We don't see the mine. Damn. Okay. Yeah, Cuarson is doing a really good job of just killing TIE fighters that move from A to B. That's something we've seen in the past. If you go somewhere and you are being trailed by your opponent's fighters, especially if you are Empire, sometimes you just can't go on. You can try to wiggle, like spam click left, right, left, right, left, right, to make your opponent miss his shots. But really and realistically, sometimes you just have to stop and dogfight because you cannot go where you want to go because you're just going to lose all your units. And in that case, you might as well do some damage. In the meantime, it actually did happen that G-Man rebuilt his basement and that Cuarson was able to immediately destroy it. I'm not sure, that seems to be a little bit of a blunder because G-Man saw the X-Wings there just a moment ago and still decided to take the gamble and build it. So it definitely was a conscious decision from him. So there's that. Cuarson has his base mine again, and this should now be smooth sailing for Cuarson. I mean, I still think the middle is unscouted for Cuarson. Let's look at the credits. Yep. G-Man still has the income. So this is actually a very... I don't know. Cuarson is playing with fire here, just leaving one mine up. If G-Man decides to switch his tactics, maybe get a bomber for this one. Later on, maybe hard defend mid. It's not in the back yet for Cuarson if he keeps that mine alive. And there's the bomber, really nice. Is it actually circling here? No, it's turning. Really nice. It's even turning around. It's being microed. Really nice too. And, yeah, G-Man. Okay, I have one eye on the minimap. Maybe we see it this time. Yeah, right now 2 big dogfights. It seems like Cuarson is winning both, though. So that's obviously very nice for him. And the bombs are down, and the mine is not. Alright, what is G-Man doing right now? He has starting units, he has spent some money. But I don't see any new units at this moment in time, so I'm not really sure what he's saving up for in his reinforcement tab. Looks like he's having something in the back. Maybe he wants to start a sneak bomber attack and is building a couple of bombers. That might be a possibility. He's now going down here with his starting unit. Looks like he's actually not getting a second starting unit. That would be a shame. Cuarson won top right and will soon be able to build another mine. He's only sitting at 800 credits now, though. Empire? Mine upgrade level 2. Cuarson is really stubborn, though. Oh, G-Man actually got baited hard at his base mine and he's gonna lose it. Or is he? I don't think Cuarson has units to call in right now, and these are gonna die. And they will take some time. And G-Man, if he actually has bombers, can destroy this mine really quick. Oh, this is not... Okay. Unable to tell how this is gonna go. That mine is up, so that's nice for G-Man. There will be X-Wings dying. That mine is found. And there's... Okay, it's TIE fighters and not bombers. But it's a lot of them. Yeah, these X-Wings doing a lot of damage too. Now the mine is down. Oh, there's another starting unit. Now that took some time. Interesting. Yep, firing at more X-Wings. So Cuarson took some losses here, but his mine will generate some income. He's already at 850 in a moment. Might want to build this one, I was about to say, but nope, there is a TIE fighter there. Little dogfight down here. Yeah, a bomber would have been really nice here. I don't know about you guys, but I think a bomber would have been really nice up here. Just cut the cycle of Cuarson building a mine by killing it quickly. At the same time, I can see how the fighters make sense too, because after this one, it will be a dogfight, right? And if Cuarson just keeps on building mine after mine, he will not maybe have the money to build more X-Wings. There's another mine. Speaking about that. But G-Man is not paying attention right now. Calls in more TIE fighters and is not checking the bottom mine here. Let's see how this goes. Pretty even, but I think the rebels are winning. Oh, more TIE fighters, just as I say that. And up here, yeah, G-Man is gonna win that dogfight. But if he doesn't find out that Cuarson has another mine, then Cuarson is still in the game. What's here? Okay, G-Man wants to... Oh, it's one X-Wing. Yeah, just the one. Down. Alright. G-Man can build a space mine. And Cuarson really doesn't have a lot of leeway in terms of map control now. Okay, now it's time for a bomber, G-Man. Go, go. Or maybe should G-Man just build his base mine again and just go 2 mines against 1 mine? That's a possibility too. He goes for the offensive path right now. He has 900 credits though. I don't know how aware he is. Oh, bomber. Very nice. And he builds a space mine. And gets more starting units. Alrighty. Cuarson building his base mine. G-Man just sitting on top. More X-Wings coming in. Will we see the mine again? Will you give us vision? There it is. Yeah, again, Cuarson with a big dogfight. Again, there's a lot of TIE fighters, but now Cuarson has income. Cuarson can spend a bit of money on more TIE fighters. G-Man actually not building anything in the center, but going for the bottom right. I think that's the right move. Wow, we have the GG actually. Cuarson, did you just forget that there's a center mine on this map? Like, he didn't go there all game. Not once. Never. Whew. 1-1 equal scores. Alrighty, G-Man, coming off that victory, can now pick another map. We had the bands Cuarson, Geonosis, and Naboo, and he's already picked a Dantooine, so he cannot pick that one again. Okay, looks like I was wrong with my Polos Rebels combination here for Cuarson. He's actually going Empire instead. Alrighty. I'm expecting Cuarson to try to hard defend the top left. And G-Man? I think he will go aggressive onto the enemy basement. I think he has seen that. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Cuarson got his favorite faction on that map already, so he should be able to pull this off if he doesn't make any big mistakes. But mistakes can be made, like forgetting there is a middle mine on Endor kind of mistakes. So let's go and find out what this third game in this best of 5 is gonna bring. Taking a look at G-Man. That's a slow start. Is the ping high? No, ping is fine. Alrighty. And he stopped. I think this is a re. He should call the re, because that's not what you want. G-Man? Re. Yeah, this is a re. All right. All right, next try. That was his re. He won't have another one, so his start needs to stick now. And it looks like it does. Goes for his base mine, goes for the enemy base mine, and so does Cuarson. Ooh, that was scary going here. But it worked out perfectly for G-Man. Nice, smooth start. Not clipping anything. It looks like G-Man is going for the center portion of the map. Let's have a look at the Rebel attack on the basement. No Empire turrets. Okay, that's the first thing to note. And no more Rebel units. Is this a 1 X-Wing attack? I'm not really sure if that's the play here, if I'm to be perfectly honest with you. I'm expecting a Cuarson bomber here. That would be what he usually does. No? Bomber. Okay, late bomber, but it was a bomber. So G-Man goes for the map control in the center here with a missile turret and then moves on top. And Cuarson is actually defending from the right side, so he will not expect the one coming from the bottom. But only 1 X-Wing, that's not gonna suffice. There's missiles, you lose your X-Wings. You lose your base mine. If you don't pay attention, you're gonna lose your supply dock too. I'm not liking what I see here for G-Man. Looks like he's not the firmest grasp on this map yet. Things like only attacking the basement with 1 X-Wing are things that, I don't know, you do 1 or 2 times and then you just realize, no, I can't do that. So this to me looks like a lack of experience on that map for G-Man. Also stuff like being aware of the bomber on your base mine. After you've seen that a couple of times against you, you just become aware of it, right? So, yeah, G-Man isn't. Builds the middle mine, okay. But he's not able neither to win this dogfight nor to kill the top left mine. He now got the enemy base mine, but alas, the X-Wings are just sitting there, getting destroyed by the station. Not the best course of actions. We have the supply dock down. This is the spot where it was. Nope, this is just not working out for G-Man here. Not his best performance here, and he picked the map, so I'm kinda confused. Maybe he just gambled and said, okay, I picked this map and just hope and pray that my opponent is picking Rebels. Maybe G-Man can play Empire on this map just fine, right? But he has Rebels now, and yeah, this is not looking stellar. Cuarson is able to rebuild his base mine, does that ASAP. And of course is able to defend his mine up here against that 1 X-Wing, right? No doubt about that. So now the next step. Oh, base mine for the Rebels, but Cuarson is already on the way. Bottom left mine for Cuarson. Again, Cuarson is not going for the middle mine. Okay, maybe that part of his brain actually got fried in the casting marathon that he did. But it's not like Cuarson really needs that mine in this game, right? He has 1 almost up, 2, 3. He will have 3 mines in a moment. So that should work out just fine for him. Though we have G-Man coming down here. And he might be just too late to get the double damage in. Let's see. Or maybe just in time for a little bit of it. 1 salvo. Okay, that's not really changing anything. And Cuarson actually moves out from his secure base in the nebula, where it smells funny. And he moves down here and has 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 TIE fighters actually attacking that mine. Destroyed the base mine, of course, had double damage there, and has the credits and build time at hand to even defend his bottom left side mine. So he has 2 mines undefended, 1 mine that he's defending. The only opposing mine on the field is being attacked by a lot of TIE fighters. This is looking really solid for Cuarson, and I think he will move ahead with a 2-1 lead in this match. Yeah, Dramatic, it's a good point that on this map, the Rebels have to micro a little bit. It's a bit like a start on Naboo, if you think about that, when you have to micro around the nebula. It's actually surprisingly, if you go through this nebula, like directly down and here, you are not much slower than if you go around because the path is much longer. So if it's too much for you to micro that, you can actually just brute force your way through there. Just remember to activate the S-foils again after the nebula. Okay, Cuarson builds his opponent's base mine. That's one way to force the GG. Not really anything else that one can respond with. All right, so we have the 2-1 lead. Match point for Cuarson now. Only one more win needed to close this out. So it's Cuarson's map pick. Fourth game. Classic map. He has picked Endor, though that's not allowed. What's it gonna be? Couldn't tell you. Maybe he's going for something weird and just says Bothawi? Because who practices Bothawi, right? Okay, instead he wants to Polos rematch. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. If you've just won on the map, picking it again is a kind of a power move. Putting your opponent into the predicament of, well, this is the map I lost on Daeim, I have to go again. I'm expecting the Empire pick. I don't know what's taking so long. Yeah, and indeed, it was the doubt nagging in G-Man's mind. If Cuarson picks it, then he expects me to go Empire. So why does he pick it if he expects the faction? So that means he's confident. So should I really pick it? Yep, that's just how it goes here. And yep, he bites, he picks Empire. Whoops, let's just go with the overlay real quick. Polos again. And wait, did I just... Oh yeah, I forgot to enter the first Polos. Right. So we had the Empire pick from Cuarson, and then we have Polos again. And another Empire pick. All right, got that in order now. Let's go. And here we go. This time, G-Man is on Empire with a very uncharacteristically slow start. Wait, maybe the ping was really high. Let's ask them. Because Cuarson immediately left the game, so I guess that was a ping. Let's see what G-Man. Now that's a weird situation. Because actually it was Cuarson leaving the game. Because, yeah, Cuarson got it right. Cuarson just forfeited the game. What the... That was actually the thing we talked about on stream when G-Man was watching earlier in Flipper J against Raisin Face. Exactly this conversation. Well, So since both players effed up here, I think everyone is happy if we just redo that. Yeah, no need to be ass about that at this point. Yeah. Okay. Now they know. Let's play Polus for a change, right? Much faster stuff for G-Man. Ping is fine. Did the check. Nice. Yeah, let's look at Carson's X-Wing micro. Bonks right into the ooh, just about not hitting the nebula. Very nice. Is he going around? Nope. Like I said, you can get like 1 or 1.5 seconds up here, but if it's not worth it for you, just don't do it. Oh, interesting. Actually going with the Y-Wing and no defensive turret for the Empire. Now the station, what is it shooting at? I think it's shooting at the Y-Wing. So, good retarget. And that was a very quick attack. Mine is already down. Top mine, bottom mine, both mines going up. And if we look at the Rebel base mine, we don't see the bomber. So G-Man is not copying what Cuarson did so successfully, with even taking out the supply dock. Nope. He goes for the slow attack, and that will give Cuarson a lot of income, especially since G-Man isn't even going bottom left. Mr. G-Man, you are kinda missing out on a lot of timing here in terms of your attacks. Also, Cuarson, with his quick attack on the base mine, is actually getting a lot of double damage up here, and there's not much defending it, only one TIE fighter. G-Man only now going down there. Yeah. That was a super quick start for Cuarson with the bomber, and a really slow start from G-Man. Something we haven't seen from him in the Sky Guy match. He didn't have like pro quick starts on in that match, but he had solid starts. And this one, I have to say, wasn't one of those. That was pretty slow. Both his attack on the base mine as well as his approach on the bottom left side. Okay, so Cuarson's going up here. Interesting. Y-Wings have a pretty large vision range, so he might just want to sit here in vision range, out of the vision of the station, just to deny the mine and pop it if it's being built again. Yeah, we had the base mine going down, you saw that, and now the bottom left mine too. But Cuarson had so much money, can even build completely secure his top left mine. The Y-Wing is keeping tabs on the base mine. What are the credits for G-Man gonna say? 770, that's not enough to build a mine. So even sitting here won't change that. And Cuarson is now in hunter mode. All he needs to do now is just hunt the TIE fighters to win the game. Maybe rebuild the base mine? Rebuild the base mine. Yeah, it's a good point, Divine. I think we now are consistent with our wordings in the rules, that a match means the whole best of 3, best of 5, and game is a single one, but I can see how that can be misleading. Because I mean, I myself always use the wrong word when I cast, right? It just rolls off the tongue. So series is probably a better word, because it makes it very clear that it's multiple games. Yeah. Alright, so we have G-Man going for his base mine. But we have a Y-Wing lurking. And is G-Man actually gonna see the Y-Wing because he kinda misclicked here in between and he is... Wow. I just can't imagine that this was deliberate. I don't think he has known that the Y-Wing was up there before that. Dogfight inside of the Iron Nebula. The X-Wings won't like that. Cuarson actually calling in another X-Wing. And I think coming in, it should have been in vision. So I don't think G-Man is going to build the mine. Yep, he's building middle instead. But Cuarson is already on the way. Yeah, won the dogfight in the bottom left. Yeah, it's losing this one. Is there another X-Wing? Oh yeah, there. But yeah, it's down now. Has found the middle. Is now moving over with, yeah, it's not a big force, but it's something. And he gets the double damage. This is the one big reason why this mine is very critical, or very... Yeah, you need to be ballsy to build it as Empire, Empire, because wherever the rebel blob is, whether it's at the base mine, own base mine, bottom mine, top mine, it's never really far away from the center mine. So if the rebel player just yeets over there, then he will probably get the double damage. And G-Man didn't get return of investment, obviously, only sitting at 370. And yep, it was better, but a no-go. G. That's the third one. Yeah, Cuarson won. He was the favorite going into this. I think his Endor game needs some looking at. I don't think he will be particularly happy with that one. But in the end, it worked out for him. So let's get the players in for a little interview. And yeah. Alrighty, guys.
That happened?
That just happened, yeah. I don't know. I think it was fair that we just did the replay with the re-confusion and then Cuarson just leaving when in actuality there was no re. So,
well, I thought it was one per game, not one overall. So.
Yeah. Divine said something in chat. Like we did make it consistent that match is the whole series and game is a single one, but I can see how that is misleading sometimes because I notice myself sometimes using the wrong word when casting, right? So we will probably just reword that into series instead of match, and then it should be very clear.
Might be a better idea.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was interesting to watch. I felt like Cuarson had to work for this one a little bit more than it would have seemed if you just watched the group stages. G-Man, I think you have made a big step forward. You showed that really impressively in the match against Sky Guy. I think you played a little bit worse today. I don't know what you think. But yeah, let's talk about this one. You, as the low seed player, you banned Cuarson and Naboo. And that's just probably maps where you feel like if my opponent has faction picked, then it's going to be bad. Is that right?
Well, Coruscant? I just find an objectively bad map for 1v1 because you pick Coruscant, whoever the opponent is just picks Rebels, and the larger the map, the more in favor it is for Rebels just because of speed. Like X-Foils, you get the middle curse, you get the 3 mines. Even if you don't build one of them, just build like the middle satellite, you've locked all 3 down, you can move on. Empire's just now arriving.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Naboo, I don't think I've won a single game on Naboo. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Coruscant gets rotated out of the 1v1 pool after this tournament.
I think there's a reason it's labeled 2v2 or 3v3. It's a big map.
It is a big map. In the past, it has seen good 1v1 gameplay, but I feel that as the general skill level now rises again in the Steam era, compared to the 2019 tournament, for example, that the Rebel favor on this map increases and that it might approach a point where it's not really viable for Majors play, right?
From the Forces Corruption TEN that just came out, DNF Scepter, that makes it a viable map. 1v1 for FOC, I can see that. I can agree with that. I can go with that. Not
yeah,
vanilla.
but definitely. Vanilla is just a different game, definitely. So, Cuarson banning Geonosis. I suppose for you it's kind of the opposite. You think that's a map where both factions are viable, so you don't want him to pick that, right?
It's just I ban it every game. Every game I can't play the map.
So you are you are the opposite of Artemis, actually. Like he picks it every match, and you ban it every match.
Yeah, I just can't play it. I can't play that map.
Until this one, I think Genosis I've started with every single series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that.
And then he banned it.
So that ban definitely hit home there. And then you went Dantooine. So is that a map that you specifically trained, G-Man?
I think that goes back to my game with Sky when in the post game, I mentioned after Genosis, I was like, okay, because I want to start off with a pretty fair map. Because if I pick one like, what Cuarson did at Endor, that's a faction-sided map. So I want to pick a map that I basically pick maps that are as even as possible to mitigate the other person getting an advantage. If I can't pick my faction, I want to make sure you don't get a massive advantage above me. And as I said, last game with Sky, especially playing against Sky, I find Dantooine not quite as balanced as Genosis. Very similar. And so it's one of those where it's like, fine, if I don't get Genosis, I'll just pick Dantooine. It's winnable on both sides.
Yeah. Cuarson, would you agree that Genosis is rather balanced? Dantooine, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Dantooine, I would say. I think I don't know if the meta hasn't been fully explored.
Probably not
either.
It was built just before the tournament.
But I definitely feel comfortable on either side. I feel like I can win on either side. At times.
Yeah, and then you just went Artemis and just built everything, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm curious to see whether there will be some counter meta being evolved for the Rebels. Just some theory crafting on what do you do against that, and then maybe it switches around again. That map has a very lively evolution of the meta, I feel like. Because just a couple of weeks back, I remember people in scrims just saying that the Rebels just feel so much stronger on that map. And now it looks like the Empire is the way to go, and it might just flip-flop again, right?
I was kind of the anti-Artemis. I did exact opposite of what he did. I just built nothing.
Yeah. No, like I said, like those who say, it's pro-Rebel, I'm sorry. Go to last week, look at Guardian Sky. He was Rebel both times. I was Empire both times. Look how well that ended up. That map is not pro-Rebel, and yet...
but I wouldn't be so bold as to pick your match against Sky and then make a general statement about the map balance.
I'm just saying,
right?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Alrighty.
I know that. I couldn't say.
Moving on to a very interesting one, Endor, Cuarson. I want your report on that map from your perspective, and I want you to use the words middle mine at least once.
I wanted to try something new because I was already a game up, and I wanted to see if I could win just without ever going in the nebula to see if it was possible. I should have just... I had enough X-Wings to where I could just go in and lasered at one point, but I'm like, that's cheating. I really just want to do this without entering the nebula for the memes, but I just couldn't pull through.
Wow, so it was deliberate.
I was wondering what you would get.
Can we just do this without going in the nebula? Because I had at one point like so many X-Wings, like, I was tempting to like break my oath to myself. I'm like, I could just go in there and laser that thing and this would be over. But like, no, I can't do it. I want to just try doing it without going in the nebula at all.
Well, I just basically kept going back and forth. Like, fine, I don't get my side mines, you don't get your side mines. And if I have a mine with mining tech too, it's like, I'll just keep throwing X-Wings TIE fighters at you, and I will just wear you down. And that's effectively what happened. I just outspent you.
I just really wanted to go for the meme, and I couldn't pull through.
I was wondering what you were doing. I had no idea. Like, did he just forget the mine was there?
No. I totally commented as if you were just forgetting the mine, so yeah.
Yeah, I just forgot the main thing that makes Endor.
Who knows? I mean, the only words you were saying before were Uga and Awuga, so I don't know.
I know. I was like, what the frick is he doing? Like,
you never know.
Like, I had no idea what you're doing that map. I will fully admit, I was just happy you didn't.
It was so tempting. I had so many X-Wings at one point. Like, I could just laser that thing.
You should have gone for the station and lasered the station instead.
I could have. I had so many X-Wings.
That would have been the meme. Yeah, you need to go deeper. Okay, right. So, G-Man. So that must have felt pretty nice going against Cuarson, who I think you respect very much as an opponent, and then just evening it out to a 1-1.
Yeah.
So you sit there, you just won on Endor, and you have to pick the map. And it falls on Polos. Is this another one of your favorite maps, of the maps you feel like are pretty balanced?
Polos, I find, is a very weird map because I've seen it go either way. And I wouldn't say Polos is a weird map because there's so many potential ways to start. Where do you put down your third fighter? Which do you have it support one of your attack on the enemy base mine? Do you have it support take a second mine? Do you send it off on its own to get a third mine? If so, which third mine for the enemy second or for the neutral middle? There's so many ways to go on both sides. It's like it isn't so much about map design as the meta around the map design, and just how well you at it versus how well the opponent was at it. Honestly, I had no idea. I thought I knew what I was doing. I had no idea Cuarson knew what he was doing because when I played Cuarson before the tournament, I beat him in a skirmish because he had fully said he hadn't even touched the map before. It's like, if he never touched it before, how many times has he played it since? I wonder.
A lot.
Could I upset him? And
well, you actually maybe to go in there into the conversation, because you actually mentioned a really nice point. You only attacked the enemy basement with one X-wing because you decided to take the second X-wing, or the first one that you built, somewhere else. For me as a spectator, that felt like it already started the slide into Cuarson's favor. Cuarson, did you see that the same way?
Yeah, it took a very long time for my baseline to die. Like, I just had so many extra ties that game.
Yeah, then you fortified the top left, and I never got into that.
Yeah, because at that point, I think I had like 5 or 6 to defend because I just had extra money.
Yeah, and I really liked the second Polos game then, because it was kind of the opposite. It was, as opposed to a slower than normal attack on the baseline, it was a faster than normal attack on the baseline with the Y-wing. And as a consequence of that, Cuarson actually got the double damage on the top left side too. So that was really interesting to see from the timing aspect of things, that he just was able to steamroll both the base mine and then the top left mine too. So that must have been pretty satisfying to play, Cuarson.
Oh yeah. I like to think of Polos as sideways Naboo.
It kind of is.
It's the speed run to the base mine.
Yeah, it kind of is sideways Naboo, but I also find the rest of the map I find very different. Just because, like, you don't... you have a nebula in the corner, but the way the other two mines are spaced,
right?
It's more time to get between. Whereas, because it's always the issue I have with Empire, is the other two mines. If rebels kill one, they can flip over and kill the other because they're smack dab next to each other. On Polos, there's a bit of a distance. The middle mine is actually in the middle between the two corner mines, so there's actual time you have to dedicate. If they go to one, they can't just flip around and get to the other.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same layout. I mean, we wouldn't be playing the map if it was exactly the same layout. It's definitely different.
I meant from a perspective of like how you start the map. It's just the rebel speed run.
It is.
It's again the side-by-side stations, which allows for this, hyper-aggressive speedrun kind of tactic. So, bottom line, G-Man, you are out of the tournament at this point, but you actually did exit the majors with a win, which I think is a success for somebody entering the majors for the first time in the 1v1 tournament, which is very competitive.
Especially since 1v1 is something I suck at. I prefer 2v2s.
Even under that aspect, right. And thank you for joining the tournament, G-Man. I think you showed us some entertaining matches, not only today, but also before. And for you, Cuarson, let's take a look at the brackets really quick.
Playing the winner of Artemis and Coax.
Indeed. Yep. Do you have somebody you would like to face over the other?
I'd like to fight the loser.
That's not an option. Try again.
I guess I want to fight the winner then.
Okay, so you don't have any preferences. You just say, come at me and just go with it.
Cokes has already spanked me once.
You rather play
yeah,
Artemis.
That's true.
I guess I'd rather play Artemis.
Okay.
Yes, but here's the thing. If Cokes beat you and then Artemis beats Cokes, what does that say about Artemis?
That means Artemis will 3-0, maybe even 2-0 beat Cuarson.
2-0.
Yeah, he doesn't need the third one.
Play 2 and Cuarson just rage quits.
All right.
And then how about
yeah. So there's that. That's the outlook on the next ones. Yeah.
What?
I think with that we are. Sorry.
What did you think of the second Polis?
The second Polis. The faction flip, I think it put you into a drafting disadvantage, G-Man, because you had to choose between picking the same faction again that you lost on, which is a weird place to be in. And then on the other side, I know that Cuarson is really solid with rebels, so I knew that would be hard for you too. So at that point, it was already Polis again is probably.
Yeah, I knew what he did. I knew he wants rebels. Do I bite? Do I not? I'll bite.
Exactly.
What's going to happen? I can't think I was down. And what was the last map? I just got the last map.
Last map.
What was that last map? Okay, was it full twice? Okay.
Well, I don't know.
My mind is a mess right now. My mind was a mess right now. For some reason, I was thinking Polis was 2 and 3.
My mind's also melted. I'm really sad I couldn't live with the meme. I really wanted to do it.
Yeah, well, you got close. I will admit, you got close. At one point, I think it was down to a half strength TIE squadron. I just had nothing left. That middle line is the only reason I won that game.
I should have just lasered him. I didn't want to I should have just done it. Honestly, Lany, you're probably right. At one point, I had 13 or 14 X-Wings. I probably could have just lasered the station.
Yeah, and then I just kind of whittled it down. Especially at your high point when I had next to nothing. If you had lasered, I probably would. If I just saw you in the nebula, I probably would have just GG'd. I guess at that point. It's well, they went my line advantage.
Right. All right. Let's wrap this up here. Again, thank you guys for playing, and thank you for doing this little interview with me. And for everybody, this, I think, concludes the day of matches for now.
The day of Cuarson.
The day, of course. Indeed.
I've been in 5 streams today.
Was it 5? I thought it was 4.
Well, he played in 1, so that's technically.
That's fair. I thought this was
technically also a thing. I don't see any matches scheduled for tomorrow right now. That might obviously change at short notice, maybe. But as of now, there's nothing. But again, we had 5 today, so that was really nice. And apart from that, the next match that we know of is Real Rex against Ormiller. Also down here in the lower bracket. Neighbor match to yours. No, wait. That's actually one step ahead. That's losers round 3. Ormiller against Real Rex, seed number 5 against seed number 8. And they will play on Monday. They are looking at 6 p.m. Central European time. And for you Americans, that would be noon Eastern time. So if you can make do on a Monday at that time, then you are very welcome to join us maybe at lunch break for Real Rex against Ormiller. But for now, see you for the next one.